Any of our BDF folks, we do have one more row up here. So Ken, if you want to come up, anybody like that? Time out. How are you today? Doing good? Great. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Save March Center Bulldog Foundation Community Room. Today we're broadcasting live on Facebook Live, the Mountain West Digital Network, and both of our flagship radio stations. So people from all over the world, as the Commissioner Craig Thompson always says, there'll be 70 million people watching us today. First, a couple of shameless plugs for 4 of our head coaches. Jamie and Rodney wanted me to remind you that there's basketball tonight right here in this building, so nobody leaves at 5 and 7. Coach Batesel gets going tomorrow. They play St. Mary's, and Coach Fleck and the swim and dive team tomorrow also goes at noon in the Aquatic Center. So there's the shameless plugs. For the guys in the media visual part, we did find some video and old clips of Coach Tedford from the 90s. We will get those to you if we haven't already got them. I'm sure the family will want to see those as well. Here's how today will work. President will come to the podium and have his remarks. Then Director of Athletics, Jim Barco. Jim will introduce our new head football coach. Coach will give his remarks. We will do Q&A with Coach after that from the podium, and then we will break into one-on-ones after that. My staff, Matt Burkholder, Stephen Tremblay, Allison Slater will help you get those interviews, and Shirley Armbruster is here for the president as well. It is always my pleasure and honor to introduce the president of Fresno State, Joseph Castro.
Thank you, Paul. Looks like we're matching shoes today. Good afternoon, everybody. I want to begin by expressing my personal gratitude to the men and women who have served and who continue to serve our country through their military service. We are especially proud of the over 900 currently enrolled veterans at Fresno State. Today is an important milestone in Fresno State's 105-year history. We welcome Jeff and Donna Tedford back home to the Central Valley. You join me in giving them a hand? We are ecstatic that Jeff will be the new head coach for our Fresno State Bulldogs. In this competitive national search, we looked for a football coach with a proven track record for success, a strong commitment to the development of student athletes, and a passion for the Valley. And during our extensive interview with Jeff on Monday, He impressed the entire search committee with his extensive knowledge of football and, just as importantly, his strong interest in developing the leadership skills, the personal character of our student athletes. And, like Jim and me, he knows our Central Valley very well. And Jeff, I know you're not going to need a GPS to find the student athletes here throughout the Central Valley and California. Fresno State's academic and athletic programs will continue to boldly rise together. And today is another step forward for our football program, our university, and for the entire Central Valley. And so welcome, Jeff and Donna. We're so happy to have you back home with us. We know that we have a bright future together, and I'm very excited that you're here. And so now I'm pleased to invite up to the podium my bold athletic partner, Jim Barco, who will introduce Coach Tedford.
I don't have the shoes, but I don't have the sport coat either, so I got the tie, which is unusual for me. I do want to reiterate again, my dad was a Marine. Today's a special day. I mean, football and athletics are a small part of the overall what we do, but what people have done to serve the country is more important. So games won and lost are important, but today was the right day for this to happen. Happens on Veterans Day, but thank all of you that have done what you've done, if you served, and all the people that are watching, because that's most important. I also want to thank Coach DeRuiter. Great family, but a lot of heart and soul in this program. A lot of heart and soul in this community. And he's done a lot. Not an easy decision. And I know he's hurting, but he'll bounce on his feet and be a better person. But Coach Kisa, I think Coach Kisa's here. Is he here? Stand up real quick, Coach. Not easy to come in as the interim head coach. What he's done the last 3 weeks is phenomenal. And I want to recognize him for what he's doing, and he'll continue to do that for the next. We have many members of the search committee here. I won't have you stand up because I always get in trouble when I have people stand up. But we had a strong search committee from academics, athletics. We had a donor, and it was a unanimous decision. We had a lot of resumes. And I'm not going to go over who the resumes were. That's not fair, but we had a lot of great people, which shows what Fresno State can do. Our goal is to be bold, as the president said, win games, graduate our kids. 8,000 fans in the stands, it's not right. All of us have to buy into this together, academically and athletically. And we're together as one team. So I want to reiterate that one more time. But the committee, we met, we searched, and it was a unanimous process. So we got the right person, and I'll say a few words about him in a minute. There's kind of like 3 criteria we really looked at. Something like head coaching experience was important. Not necessary, but important. Something that's been in the position of rebuilding a program from, hopefully we're 3-9, we win our next 2 games. But somebody that has the Valley roots, important, that knows what the Valley's about. If it's a Bulldog, it's a Bulldog. That was the added benefit, and we got all 3. Someone that can do all 3 of those things. About a year and a half ago, I came full circle, for the most part. Graduated from high school in '83. I don't want to say how old I am, but '83. I should have said '93, but this coach played in the first game at Bulldog Stadium. He'll be the first coach to coach in the new Bulldog Stadium when we get this thing done. Right, everybody? This program means a lot to me. I took a jump from Oregon to come here because I knew this place can win academically and athletically, and we're going to do it together. All 21 of our programs together. Not just football, not just basketball, but we have water polo. You wait till you see her recruiting class she's bringing in. Wrestling, I'm not sure how many coaches are here. I can't really see it back there, but we're going to get this thing done. We're going to make you all proud. Athletics is the front door to this whole university. we're going to do it right. We're not going to take cuts. We're not going to take shortcuts. We're going to do things what you all want to do. We're going to make the red wave proud. And we need the red wave together doing one thing. Have success, support our kids, support the university, and let's get this thing done together, okay? Now, I've known this guy for, I think he came to Oregon in like 97 or whatever. I mean, I think whatever year it was, but it's a privilege. We have one of the best football coaching minds in America that wanted to come home to Fresno State. And that means a lot to me. Someone that wants to be here, not for a year, not for 2 years, not a stepping stone, but to build his roots. Bring this place back to what it needs to be. And it's my thrill and my honor to bring back a Bulldog. I'm not sure of his passing record. I'm not sure if you want to throw this ball to anybody, but he and Donna are great people who will be great ambassadors for this community, being great ambassadors for the university. They're great people, a great family, great ties. They know where the towns are. They know where Fireball is. They know where Modesto is. They know where Turlock is. We got some Turlock fans over here in the corner. But I'm thrilled. Our goal is to hire the best coaching staff we can have. And we have a great, great, great coaching staff, top to bottom. So, Coach Tedford, welcome. My honor, everybody.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. I appreciate that. First off, I'd like to introduce my wife. Please stand up. My lovely wife, Donna. My #1 recruit, for sure. It's great seeing so many familiar faces, friendly faces, and I really appreciate you all being here. I see my college roommate back there, which I appreciate you being here, friend. You want to catch this ball? Can you catch any better now than you did then? Anyway, it's great to see all the friendly faces in the crowd, and I'd like to reiterate as well, being on Veterans Day, the thanks and appreciation for all the veterans and their sacrifice and their commitment. So I'd like to start off with that. Very proud to be here today and excited to be here today as a Fresno State football coach. I want to take the opportunity to thank President Castro, Jim Bartko for their trust and confidence for this opportunity. It means a lot to us. It's kind of coming full circle all back around when I came here. I didn't play in the first game because the first game was one game at the end of the year, but I did play in the first full season of Bulldog Stadium, so have a long history, obviously. My family and I have always loved Fresno and our relationships here, which we have quite a few. I have a great deal of pride and passion for the university and for the football program. I appreciate the pride and tradition of Bulldog football, having played and coached here under great mentors like Coach Sweeney and Coach Hill. I do want to take this opportunity to thank Coach DeRuiter for all his contributions to the program and wish him well. This opportunity is a great fit for me because I do understand the tradition of Bulldog football. I know where it's been and I know where it should be. And I'm really looking forward to reconnecting with all the past players, the supporters, and the entire Red Wave to bring this program back to prominence. I really believe this is a special place, without a doubt. And through that experience over the years, I've been able to see how it's built and how it's done, and I look forward to that. Our mission will be this. Our mission and our goal will be this, and that's to grow and develop young men to reach their full potential in all areas, academically, athletically, socially, and spiritually, to compete at a high level in the classroom and on the football field, and while doing so with great character and high integrity. That's very, very important, that they're a representative and we're a representative of the community and of all the alumni that have ever attended Fresno State or have ever walked down that ramp to play a football game in that stadium. So I'm excited about the future. That being said, there's a tremendous amount of work to do. in a lot of areas. Just to name a few: APR, recruiting and scholarship numbers, absolutely. But I cannot wait to get after it. I am going to go back right after this. We have a big game at Washington tomorrow against USC, but I will be back next week to start evaluating the program and all the areas of the program. And I'm very, very excited to get started on this journey and this process. So with that, I will open up to questions.
If members of the media, will you please raise your hand, and then when you ask your question, because maybe Jeff doesn't know everybody in the room, please make sure you say your name and what affiliation you are. Thank you. Paul Leffler.
Paul Leffler, 940 ESPN. Look forward to calling your games next year and seeing you back here. You talked about your history with the program, your understanding of the tradition of this program. With Coach Sweeney and Coach Hill, can you give us one nugget from your experience with both of those guys that has stuck with you, that's impacted the coach that you are today?
Well, there are so many. You know, when you're growing up as a young person, for me, my coaches, when I said mentors, great mentors, they were my mentors. And especially Coach Sweeney. I coached for Coach Hill for a year, but I played and coached for Coach Sweeney. And what he has done for this program and for this community is unbelievable. And I will be forever grateful to him for the opportunity to come to Fresno State, for him believing in me and teaching me the values of what it takes to raise young men, because I needed guidance, and he absolutely did that. I think more than anything, if you took both of those guys, it would be the pride and tradition of Fresno State football. And I remember so many of the things. I just, after being a head coach for so long, to see the energy that Coach Sweeney brought every day with all his mantras of no dogs down, run to the ball, some other things I can't say. But, I mean, he bled Bulldog red. There's no question about it. And I'll tell you, when I first went to Cal as the head coach, I was there for maybe a week. And someone asked me, do you bleed blue and gold? And I said, no, I've been here a week. I don't bleed blue and gold yet. That has to be earned. There's a process in that. But I can honestly say I do bleed Bulldog red because I've been here, and I appreciate it. So there's so many things that they did, especially Coach Sweeney, in my life, and so many other players' lives. I mean, that's the thing. That's why we're here. We're here to develop young men. And so that's why we're here, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Coach Tedford, welcome back. Scott Bemis with KC24 and CBS 47 Sports here in town. You've been a part of some incredible turnarounds. You cited Cal. With where this program's at, how do you engineer a turnaround like this and kind of getting it back on top?
Well, you start from day one, and it all starts with evaluation of what's going on with the program. I'm confident that we have the support with President Castro and Jim Bartko to do the things that we need to do. And it's not just about football. It's not just on the football field. The number one thing I will do next week when I get here is meet with the academic staff to find out what's going on academically, because that's number one, first and foremost. And then from there, I think as far as hiring a staff is concerned, it's really important that you surround yourself with guys who are great evaluators, guys who are master teachers, guys who are experts in their field, guys who can communicate with players, people who can come to work every day positive, poised, but demanding. And those are the things that we're going to have in our staff. And so it's going to be a long process here to understand who we are first, because I won't begin to say I do, because I don't, but that's the initial process, is that. And then from there, hire a staff. And so I'm going to work long and hard to get that done in the next few weeks. The great thing about this is that being a consultant at Washington, I don't actually coach a position. I'm really a consultant to the coaching staff and the offensive staff and the head coach, help put in game plans. So the timing is perfect for me to get here and start right away to be able to do this, so that we can hopefully save as much of this recruiting season as we can, because that's important. Recruiting is number one. Recruiting our type of guys. That's what's important. Guys who are accountable, guys who have leadership, guys who have integrity and great attitudes. Those are the people we're going to be looking for.
Coach, right here.
Amy Gill, KMJ, Nice to meet
Hi.
you. Where do you start with the players and try to win them over and get them to buy into your coaching philosophy?
Well, that's a process, and it all starts with trust. And, and that's what needs to be built is trust and confidence when you're someone new coming in. Obviously, I had an opportunity today to meet with the players and kind of explain to them what the schedule would be, but that they really need to focus on finishing strong in the classroom and on the football field under Coach Keesaw's guidance and their staff's guidance. I'm not going to come in here in the next 2 weeks and try to uproot anything or confuse them with my philosophies. Obviously, they've had a mission that they've been on. They have goals, and they have a message that this coaching staff has been relaying to them. So I want that to stay consistent. But then after that, we will spend minutes. I did leave them a questionnaire. I want to know every single thing about them, from their families, their backgrounds, what their goals are academically and athletically. And then once the season is over, I will sit down individually with each and every one of them, find out what their concerns are, like I said, what their goals are, how the program can improve. And I think you get that information best from the people who are inside, which is the players. And so I'm looking forward to sitting down with each and every one of them, getting to know them. And that's how you build trust. Because nobody really cares how much you know until they realize how much you care. And that's the first thing, is to create relationships with the players.
Coach Tedford, Andrew Martin, CBS 47, KC24, welcome back. You talked about being Bulldog-born, Bulldog-bred, but it's been 20 years since you've been here. How closely did you pay attention to the Fresno State program when you were at other stops?
All the way through. You know, obviously when Coach Hill was here, there was a long, history there of should we play him when we were at Cal and all that. And so, he was always banging that drum. And so we finally played him. So obviously Derek Carr, watching the growth and development of Derek Carr, I'm sorry. I was here, recruited David Carr, and Derek used to come to practice all the time. He was a little 5-year-old. I was working with him then with his Nerf ball doing drops. So I was very interested in Derek's development here, and he had a great career here. But keeping in touch with everybody, I was here as a player, and I coached for 6 years here. And so those relationships never died. And so I always kept an eye on what was going on here. Obviously not from, the back rooms by any means, but I can't tell you how many text messages I've received over the last 2 days with former players, both teammates and players I coached here. They're so fired up about the future. And so I've always kept a close eye on Fresno State football. It does mean a lot to me. And have a lot of, like I said in the very beginning, so many great relationships here that I've kept in contact for many, many years.
Yeah, follow-up question to what you were talking about. So if you've been paying attention to this program since you left, and obviously when you were here, when did you first learn of the opening, and how did you first approach the mindset that you wanted to apply for it? Can you take us through that timeline?
Yeah, well, it was recently, really. It was after they'd made the decision to go in a different direction. And so at that point, tried to kind of calculate and okay, is it a great fit for us? And I think the answers were a no-brainer for me and my family, without a doubt. And what this place can be. It's interesting talking to Coach Peterson, that when Coach Peterson, the head coach at Washington, first got to Boise, their gold standard was Fresno State. Okay, now it's kind of flipped roles, where Boise State is now at the head of this conference, but I absolutely know what it takes to get there and how we can get it done. And it starts with recruiting the Valley and making sure that we keep the guys in the Valley home that want to be here, and keep the recruiting more on the West Coast. I kind of looked at the commitment list that's there right now in Florida and Georgia and Texas, and when I was here, I knew how this thing was built, and it was built with blue-collar players who really appreciate the Valley and what Fresno State stands for, and that pride and tradition. And so we're going to start there, of making sure that we saturate the Valley with our coaches, reconnect and cultivate the relationship with the high school coaches and junior college coaches throughout, and move forward from there.
Coach, one last question I have for you. In the years that you've been away from being a college head coach, having different perspectives, the pro game, north of the border, and now in a non-position coach role at UW. Would you say that you're better prepared to jump back in as a head coach now, that there are things you see after the last few years that maybe you wouldn't have seen at the end of your tenure at Cal?
I think without a doubt that's true. I was away from college coaching. I was in the NFL and the CFL and pro football. And being able to go to the University of Washington and be behind the scenes and see a different way from time to time, I think it's important for everybody to reflect from time to time and make sure that they don't close and they're not tunnel vision from learning. And so it's been great. The year that I had off, I traveled around the SEC and studied all the SEC programs with some of my friends that coach there. Obviously being behind the scenes for a full season at Washington has been awesome. So yeah, I mean, I think now I am so invigorated and ready to get after this again. Not that I wasn't before. I mean, it was a long, great tenure at Cal. Cal's a very difficult place, but spent 11 years there and accomplished a lot. Accomplished a lot academically. We won a lot of football games, built a brand new facility. I don't even know how much it ended up costing. I know in the beginning it was like $450 million, and when we played there last week, and I sat in the press box, I was able to look around and have a sense of pride for a huge accomplishment at that university. And so I see the same thing here, without a doubt. And to tell you the truth, I mean, this is a perfect fit, like I said before. I don't think I would have traveled east or anything else for a program. This is a perfect fit at the exact right time. So God willing, He has blessed us with this opportunity, and we're going to do everything we can in our power to make everybody proud.
If there are no more, Amy, one more question. All right, here we go.
Hi. Is there anything that you want to do different from your time at Cal? Any just sort of differences that maybe from having that time away from being the head coach of a college job?
Sure. You know, I mean, I think one of the things that really helped me, I don't think it's any secret, one year I had a heart situation when I was in Tampa, and so I had to recoup from that. But with that, I was able to kind of sit back and reflect on what's so important about this. Because sometimes as a young coach, you get really tunnel visioned about success. And that's important, okay? But the main thing is the relationships that I've kept with my players over the years that became so evident to me about what this is all about. And when I said a high level of success in the classroom and on the football field with great character and high integrity, I mean that sincerely, because that's what it's all about. It's about the growth and development of these young people. Because I see them now, after recruiting them, they go on, they're having families, keeping in contact with them, hearing them call back, say, Coach, thank you for the guidance you gave me back. Then you really realize what this is all about. And I've had the opportunity to do that. And so I'm very anxious. I think this, the whole coaching world, whatever business you're in, I think when you stop learning, and when you stop trying to reflect and get better and improve. So yeah, there's a lot of areas that with the experience that I've had, the ability to have experiences to learn from them and know that you're prepared for the next level, you know, for the next opportunity. And that's where I believe I am right now.
Coach, we're going to finish with a poll.
Ralph Wood, you've been doing this
Jeff.
a long time.
Good to see you.
How are you?
I get the feeling that at some point you kind of realized or came to the realization that you are a college football head coach, that it was going to be college football that would be your game. I'm wondering, being away from it, what did you miss the most?
Well, exactly, Ralph. I mean, that was exactly it. Is you get away and football's football. The NFL is a business, without a doubt. But I think being able to make an impact on young people's lives, because how I grew up, if it weren't for my coaches as my mentors, I wouldn't know where I would be. So that's what became very evident to me, is the reason why I have a passion for college coaching is really about the players. It really is. And it's about the alumni, and it's about the fans, and it's about the relationships. When you're in pro football, you never see anyone. You know, you see the players every day and it's gone. but the relationships that we have built over time and the great friendships that we have not only in Fresno, but Oregon, Cal. I mean, there's so many lasting relationships that we've had that for me, at the end of the day, it turned out that that's where my passion is, that's where my heart is, and that's how I want to finish my career.
Ralph, glad we can conclude this question and answer with you. That is the end of the formal part of this press conference. We know some members of the media would like to do one-on-ones. Coach Tedford, welcome.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. Go Dogs.